Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:02. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. It's not budget season, it's wabbit season. I mean, it's not wabbit season, it's budget season.
It is budget season. So I understand you were over at City Hall yesterday getting multiple cameras ready. You know, we're not used to this in-person stuff anymore, Pete.
Well, and I'm also not used to having
time.
to cover different rooms, too. So I had a, all of a sudden, everybody still wants their meetings on the air.
Of course they do, because now we're used to that.
Right. And nobody ever gave me a green light to go ahead and buy stuff for said rooms.
Aha.
So I had to make do with what we had on hand. So you notice there's cameras missing from the studio.
You were cleaning out closets and
well, the camera that's usually in the back of the room that I can control
up there,
is now in 201.
Okay.
And then the wide angle shot is now in 315.
Okay, then.
But we pulled it off.
Yes, you did.
Pretty much, kind of, sort of.
Oh, boy. And tonight, more budget meetings tonight.
And we don't know if we're going to be on Zoom. We don't know if the state legislature we heard was really close to passing.
Oh, good.
An extension of some sort for a whole bunch of stuff, including this.
Yep.
We just don't know. And
right.
until we know, we have to continue. I left everything set up the way it was. I can see room 201 on my little monitor over here.
Okay.
I can't broadcast it from here.
Okay.
Well, maybe I could, but irregardless, I can see it. And I ended up. So Mark St. Jean did the planning board meeting last night.
Okay.
I started the budget meeting at City Hall in the control room, and then so Mark could do the planning board. I figured out I could control it from here. I could monitor it from here with sound. So I finished the meeting here.
So you came back to the studio here to finish.
Can't do it from home, but I can do it from here.
Okay. All right.
Pure insanity.
You know, it's kind of too bad, though, because you were able to do some stuff from home, and that was really nice with all these evening.
I could have dinner and things like that, yes.
Yeah, dinner, dinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shocker.
I know.
Well, if I get it fairly automated, I'm still deciding on what equipment to finally buy, because I know there's the pushes on to do these rooms permanently, so. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been able to buy anything recently because I kind of like put a self-imposed freeze on things.
So, Pete,
but I am going to buy stuff next year.
Yeah, I mean, if you buy the right stuff, would you be able to do this remotely from home or no? Would you always have to be in the studio, depending on what you can get?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think I could roll into this machine and fire everything up from here.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. To be determined.
Yeah.
So, yes, some of us have budget stuff tonight. I'm on the list for tonight.
Well, poor Frank Kane he had actually logged into the Zoom meeting and wondered why nobody was there.
Oh, well, because
he had to check his email after a certain point.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the email we had last week about all of our budgets from Councilor Figge, who is chair of the budget committee, was, it's a Zoom meeting. And honestly, the only reason I remembered that it wasn't or knew that it wasn't was because of
We probably talked about
we
it.
talked about it at the Council on Aging meeting on Monday.
Right.
I knew that the legislature hadn't passed anything yet. I knew it was being discussed. And, that stuff just drives me nuts because
They had at least 3 weeks to
they
deal
had
with this.
time. This stuff drives me crazy. It's like
Right.
this should not have been a last minute thing.
Right.
They knew what the asks were. They knew what the requests were.
Right. This isn't
Make
something
a
new,
decision.
folks.
Right. It's not new. Just make a decision and move on. Yes or no, so that the cities and towns, you've got 325 cities and towns across the state that need to know what the heck we're doing.
That should have been a priority, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
I have no idea
absolutely.
what the priority was because I don't really follow what they got going on over there.
Well,
But it was like,
Well,
hello.
I think what I think part of it, Pete, was the virtual meetings at the town level was bundled in with a bunch of other stuff that had to do with restaurants and takeout liquor and all kinds of other stuff. And I think those were the things that they didn't necessarily want to get into and kept postponing. I think this just kind of fell into it. I don't know. I just don't think it's that big
when
a
it's an
deal.
important
I think
issue,
they could-
this is what drives me about all the representative bodies. It's an important issue. You have somebody write a 2-page bill just dealing with that issue.
Yes.
Pass it.
Yes. And then
Because
just
it's
decide
not
what
controversial.
you're doing. Right.
Take the controversial stuff later.
Exactly. I
They
think
can't-
that is exactly what happened here. It was
They
bundled
can't
with like
do it.
a bunch of other stuff and they were controversial. All that restaurant stuff was
Right.
controversial. There were some other things too. This one was like a no-brainer. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, you extend it to September 1st. What's the big deal?
Right, like on the national level, they bundle all these stuff in these monster spending bills.
Yeah.
When there's stuff that they could agree on
Absolutely.
and say, "Hey, take that stuff out." Like we all want
Yep.
better roads and bridges and stuff like that. Hey, take that stuff out. You can do a bipartisan pass, and then you fight out the tough stuff.
Right. And then
But they
at
try to
least-
shove it down everybody's throat.
I know. I'm right there with you, Pete. That
like,
stuff
come
drives me
on.
crazy. Yeah. And it's all these amendments that they tack on and they add on. And they don't have one doesn't have anything to do with the other. That's the real kicker.
Right. How is daycare part of infrastructure?
I don't know. It had to do with because I was listening to that this morning and it was like, well, that's the what did they call it? The personnel infrastructure. I'm like, since when is personnel part of I don't
They're
get
trying
it.
to they're trying to euphemize. I think is the proper term.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting into semantics here. All right, so listen, I have June is I thought this was really kind of cool. So let's start here. June is National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month. So I looked at that and I went, "Oh, that would be kind of fun." But here's the premise behind it, which I think is really kind of cool. Every day in June, National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month brings joy to a child battling an illness or struggling with a life-altering diagnosis. When limitations, treatments, or hospital stays prevent children from the joys of childhood, their smiles fade. National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month encourages giving children we know with an illness something to smile about by bringing them a bunch of balloons. Often, days of treatments and the restrictions associated with an illness are long and tiring. Being ill is no fun, especially for a child. A delightful bouquet of balloons brings energy to a room and delivers a smile to a child's face. While it may not be a cure, the balloons brighten their day and add a distraction from their mundane reality. So if you know a child who is ill at home or spending time in the hospital, give him or her a bunch of brightly colored balloons. Find out their favorite color or cartoon character and include a message just for them. The smile you receive will be worth more than anything money can buy. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, sounds cool to me.
Yeah, who doesn't love balloons? It's, kids they're not really into flowers and stuff, but balloons. And I love that idea, like find out their favorite color or, if they have a cartoon character or if they like flowers or, something like that. If they're girly, there's all kinds of cool balloons out there. So, and you can get them locally. You can get them at the dollar store. You can get them at Big Y. I don't know if they sell them I think they sell balloons at Stop and Shop too. So yeah, do balloons. So happy National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month. That is, that's June. Okay. All right. Let's do a few birthdays. Today's June 16th. So today is the birthday. I thought of my brother Dave when I was reading this because he's into theater and acting, and he loves old movies. And today's the birthday of the late Stan Laurel, as in like Laurel and Hardy.
Hardy, sure.
Yeah, comedic actor. He was born on this date in 1890 in Ulverston, England. He passed away in 1965 at the age of 74. Stan Laurel was an English comic actor, writer, and film director who was part of the comedy duo Laurel and Hardy. He appeared with his comedy partner Oliver Hardy in 107 short films, feature films, and cameo roles. Laurel began his career in music hall, where he developed a number of his standard comic devices, including the bowler hat, the deep comic gravity, and the nonsensical understatement. His performances polished his skills at pantomime and music hall sketches. Stan Laurel and Charlie Chaplin arrived in the United States on the same ship from the United Kingdom with the same performing troupe. I believe Laurel was actually an understudy at one point for Charlie Chaplin. Stan Laurel began his film career in 1917 and made his final appearance in 1951. He appeared with his comic partner Oliver Hardy in the film short The Lucky Dog in 1921, although they did not become an official team until late 1927. He then appeared exclusively with Hardy until retiring following his comedy partner's death in 1957. Oliver Hardy died on August 7th, 1957 of a heart attack. People who knew Stan Laurel said that he was absolutely devastated by Hardy's death, and he never fully recovered from his grief. He refused to perform on stage or act in another film without his friend. So once Oliver Hardy died,
I believe that
was it. They were done. He and Laurel too had actually had a stroke a few years before Hardy had his heart attack. He recovered from it, and went back to acting until Oliver Hardy passed away, and then that was it. Okay.
I gotcha.
We'll do one more birthday before we take a short break. It is the birthday of singer James Smith. He was born on this day in 1950 in New York City. He's 71 years old today. Vocalist James Smith was one of the original members of the Philly soul group, the Stylistics. The Stylistics formed in 1968 by combining members of two different vocal groups, the Monarchs and the Percussions. James Smith was riding high with the group for about 8 years, beginning in 1968, including singing on a dozen straight chart smashes. During the early 1970s, the group had 12 consecutive R&B top 10 hits, including Stop, Look, and Listen, You Are Everything, Betcha by Golly Wow, I'm Stone in Love with You, Break Up to Make Up, and You Make Me Feel Brand New. You know what? I didn't realize, Pete, till I started really kind of researching this. I didn't realize how many hits the Stylistics had. They were
Michael Buster McMahon loves the Stylistics.
I do too. And I could name off the top of my head like 2 or 3 hits, but then I went, oh, I didn't know they sang that. Oh, they sang that too, because they were super popular back in the late 60s and early 70s.
Correct.
And I really liked them as well. So, all right. So in honor of National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month, we're going to take a break in just a couple of minutes and play a song. I just wanted to let our viewers and listeners, are we on the radio now,
yes,
Pete? Okay.
Last minute reboot got
both
it working.
viewers and listeners know that today is our Diabetes Dialogue segment. We'll start that in the second hour at 7:05 with Jen Jafune, registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, and the facilitator of Diabetes Dialogue.
Now, is that starting again? In person?
Well, I have to talk to Jen about that. I don't think that we'll start the support group until September. I think that because of all of our vacation schedules.
Right.
I think it's going to be too wonky. I am bringing back my side-by-side support group this month, at the end of the month. And I'm not sure about, we also have a Viewpoints low vision group. I'm not sure about that one. We're not bringing that back in June. That one may not be until August. We're still working on details for some of those. But yeah, Jen, we have to discuss the diabetes piece. So we'll see what we're going to do with that. Jen and
Okay.
I will figure that one out. But anyway, she will be with us. And the topic today is cholesterol levels. And again, everything that Jen talks about on the show that's related to diabetes is really just good.
Applicable to general health.
It is. It's just good stuff for all of us. So she'll be joining us second hour. But in the meantime, in honor of National Give a Bunch of Balloons Day, we're going to listen to the Fifth Dimension singing Up, Up, and Away. It is 6:15. You're listening to WSKB, 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses, and WCPC Cable Channel 15. We'll be back.
Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? We could float among the stars together, you and I. For we can fly up and away, my beautiful balloon. The world's a nicer place in my beautiful balloon. It wears a nicer face in my beautiful balloon. We can sing a song and sail along the silver sky. Or we can fly up and away, my beautiful balloon. Suspended under the twilight canopy, we'll search the clouds for a star to guide us. If by some change you find yourself loving me, we'll find a cloud to hide us. We'll keep the moon beside us. Your love is waiting there in my beautiful balloon. Way up in the air in my beautiful balloon. If you'll hold my hand, we'll chase your dream across the sky. For we can fly up and away, my beautiful balloon.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Join us the third Wednesday of every month with Selectman Joe Didi and his take on everything Southwick.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:18. What are you laughing about?
Just exhausted.
I'm right there with you. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, although I also, Pete, do not feel very awake this morning.
That's why
and
I got a
yeah,
coffee.
Pete's got his coffee. I got to tell you.
I think Joe's bringing me another one at 8.
Oh, my God. Pete, I woke up at like 2:10.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't get to bed until late because I was just working late. Mary Lou's on vacation this week. So, but I woke up at 2:10 and then, the brain chatter. Because Mary Lou's not there. And so I'm thinking, okay. And now, of course, we've started to introduce some programs. So in my head, I'm like, okay, what's going on today? What do I have to do? Which pre-registration is for Friday? And then that was it. 2:10.
I woke up with acid reflux around midnight. And I had just gone to bed around 9:30, 10-ish.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get back to bed, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll try this and try that.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't. It
Yeah.
was like over an hour
Yeah.
to get me back out.
I don't think I ever fell back asleep after 2:10, so I feel like I've been up, but now I feel like I'm in slow motion here. You know,
Yes.
It's just
Getting moving this morning was a little tough.
Yeah, I mean,
then
normally.
normally I could take a half a day today, but we're taping Judge
Yeah.
Graney today, I think.
Yes,
That's what Harry
yes,
said. Yeah.
yes, we are.
So it's like I can't get out of here early, and
Yep.
then I gotta go home and take a nap if I'm doing all kinds of meetings.
Well, that's my thing too. It's like I'm thinking, then I got
Even just
budget
a power
meetings,
nap
I
or
got-
something.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm at Public Safety Commission at 5:00 in 2:01, and then I have Mark coming in to cover for me just in case that goes long. And he's got to start the budget meeting, which I believe will be in council chambers tonight because there's nothing else in there.
Well, I think that's what they told us. Council chambers at 6:00 that they start.
right.
I know.
PAC may be in there too. I don't know. Because there's no. I just looked on the city calendar. There's
PAC,
no listing.
PAC is. I have PAC on my calendar for tomorrow.
Oh really?
I do.
Well, it's on for
Yes, at like
today.
5:30.
I think it's
tomorrow.
today.
Okay.
Yep,
Well,
5:00
is it?
today.
Oh boy, Pete, I am so glad that you told me that because, all right, well, let's just throw one more thing onto the plate for today. But at least it means tomorrow I don't have to hang around because I have a board member who's up for reappointment.
17th City Council at 7:00. City Properties at 5:30. Budget hearings at 6.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was weird because Councilor Harris had called me to tell me when the PAC meeting was.
I think they asked her to move it back because of the trying to squeeze in or whatever budget stuff.
Okay, because I double checked it like 3 times, and then I think I erased her voicemail because I said, okay, I got it. It's on my calendar.
I checked the city
Thursday.
website. Cityofwestfield.org for all of you
Okay.
so you're keeping score at home.
Okay, yeah,
I check it
exactly.
every single day against my calendar that they give me for the meetings.
Okay.
Because then I know who's filed agendas and who hasn't made it in and things like that. And
Yeah. Well, boy, thank you, Pete, because I would have. I don't like to miss those. When I have people up for appointments and reappointments that I've lobbied for, I like to be there in case anybody has any questions.
Right.
So, okay. So PAC is where? Do you know where that is? You don't know where that is yet.
it would probably have to be
in council.
It could be in 315, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well,
It'd
that's
probably be in council chamber, I
Okay.
would think.
All right. Well, I can contact Councilor Harris and see what
She
see
might
what
not
she
even
knows.
know where-
I was going to say see what she knows, but she may not know.
I would contact the clerk's office.
Clerks,
They
yeah,
might be able to
yeah,
tell
Karen.
you.
Okay. All
'Cause
right.
They still don't know. We still don't know. I mean, we could be all virtual tonight.
There you go. Okay, so we'll figure all that out. Stay tuned.
In which case, I still have to go to room 201 because I'm a public safety communications commissioner. At 5:00, I got a meeting there.
Oh,
no
you've
matter
got
what.
you've got your own meeting.
Yeah, I'm a commissioner. So
Oh, good grief, Pete. Okay, so let's just make this more complicated.
Sure.
Pete, I don't know. I honestly sometimes no wonder you and I are waking up in the middle of the night with brain chatter and
well, I have to. Like I said, I started to. I almost missed a meeting because somebody texted me and go, "Hey, are we doing this meeting? Are you going to start it up?" And I
Yeah.
went, "That one got canceled." Then it was Public Works and Water get
okay.
get confused all the time. They're two separate boards,
Gotcha.
but they get confused all over the place. Clerks, everybody.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they're like, "Oh no, the water one got canceled, but the Public Works is still going on."
Okay.
What? Huh?
Okay. It is, you know what? It's that time of the year. I mean, everything calms down in July. Like July's the one month that, things kind of.
So I'm getting out of Dodge.
And you're
going to
be out of Dodge. So you and I have to talk about the schedule here and what we're doing and when we're doing best ofs because
Yeah, I may.
we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
I
talk-
mean, we
we'll
could
talk about
technically
it.
we could do a Zoom. We could do a complete Zoom show if you wanted to.
We could. I just need to. We
I
just
don't know.
need to
My
figure out
schedule's
dates.
like going to be down there.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to figure out dates. Well, and maybe we'll just take a little break. Hey, Gary was showing me former Mayor Kanapik's Facebook posting, just reminding us all that we are right around. We're just past the anniversary of community radio, and I'm trying to. Is it 7 years or 8
I believe
years?
so.
We're
starting our 8th.
We're starting our 8th, right?
Yeah.
We just finished
2014,
our
I believe, is when we
7th
started
year.
this craziness.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe that we've been doing this long.
Yeah.
And here we are, still here. Okay, so let's do another birthday.
Think about how far we've come in 7 years.
I know, right? Can you believe it? It's so funny. People keep asking me, like people have asked me, it's like, you're still doing that? And it is time consuming. The prep work is time consuming. But I also have told all the directors, I said, it's such a great way for me to get my message out.
Right, it's a venue. You basically have a
Awesome.
venue to get your
I have
stuff
my
out
own
every week.
platform here. It's wonderful.
Right.
Plus, we get to bring on great guests and, learn all, get educated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today, June 16th, on this date in 1937, Eric Siegel was born, the late Eric Siegel, author, screenwriter, educator. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, passed away in 2010 at the age of 72. Eric Siegel attended Harvard College, graduating as both the class poet and Latin salutatorian in 1958. He obtained his master's degree and a doctorate in comparative literature from Harvard University, after which he started teaching at Yale. Eric Siegel was a professor of Greek and Latin literature at Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. Not a bad resume. In the late 1960s, Siegel collaborated on various screenplays. He had also written a romantic story about a Harvard student and a Radcliffe student, but failed to sell it. However, literary agent Lois Wallace at the William Morris Agency suggested he turn the script into a novel, and the result was a motion picture phenomenon entitled Love Story. A New York Times #1 bestseller, the book became the top-selling work of fiction for 1970 in the United States and was translated into 33 languages worldwide. The motion picture of the same name, starring Ali MacGraw and Ryan O'Neal, was the #1 box office attraction of 1970. I was in high school at the time, and boy, oh boy, everybody read Love Story. It wasn't a long book. The book was really actually quite thin. But
Okay.
we all read Love Story. We all watched the movie. We all knew the theme from Love Story. There was both the instrumental and then there was also the vocal, which we're going to listen to later. So happy birthday to the late Eric Siegel. And I have to say, I really didn't realize till I started doing some research on Eric Siegel how accomplished he was. As I knew him as the author of Love Story. That's what everybody knew him as. But I didn't realize he had his PhD and he taught at all these Ivy League schools and comparative literature. So he was quite the professor there. We'll do one more before we take a break. It is the birthday. This one was kind of interesting. It is the birthday of the late Bob Ryland, professional tennis player and coach. He was born on this day in 1920 in Chicago. He died August 2nd, 2020. So he just died last year at the age of 100. Bob Ryland was the first African American to play professional tennis. Ryland, who received his first tennis racket at the age of 8, was raised by his grandmother in Mobile, Alabama, where his father taught him to play on clay courts in the segregated Brooklyn Park. Returning to Chicago after almost 10 years away, Bob Ryland went on to become the first African American to win the Illinois state title, beating Chris Everett's father, Jimmy, in the 1939 final. I thought that was an interesting little piece of trivia there. Around this time, he received a scholarship to Xavier University, a historically black college, and the University in New Orleans, and served in the U.S. Army between 1941 and 1945. Bob Ryland returned to another scholarship at Wayne State University in Detroit, where he resumed his tennis career. But during away matches, he was forced to eat separately from his teammates and occasionally had to sleep on the team bus. Ryland moved to California after his studies and played tennis with Pancho Gonzalez. He competed in ATA tournaments, becoming singles champion in 1955 and 1956. For a short time, Ryland was a YMCA physical education director in Montclair, New Jersey, taught tennis in Washington, D.C., including to the Kennedy family, and coached at the Midtown Tennis Club in New York City. From 1963 to 1990, Bob Ryland honed the games of Arthur Ashe, a young Harold Solomon, Bruce Foxworth, and dozens of celebrities, including Barbra Streisand, Tony Bennett, and Dustin Hoffman. Richard Williams also brought Ryland to Florida to oversee his daughters, 14-year-old Venus and 13-year-old Serena. So
There you
another person with quite an accomplished resume in the sports world there. So happy birthday to the late Bob Ryland, who, boy, I was impressed. Lived to the ripe old age of 100 years old. I think it's time for a little break. So it is 6:29. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to listen to the Stylistics, as Pete said, one of Buster McMahon's favorite groups.
Sure.
And we're going to listen to Betcha by Golly Wow. We'll be back.
There's a spark of magic in your eye. Candyland appears each time you smile. Never thought that fairy tales came true, but they come true when I'm near you. You're a genie in disguise, full of wonder and surprise, and picture like a wow. You're the one that I've been waiting for forever, and ever will my love for you keep growing strong, keep growing strong. If I could, I'd catch a falling star to shine on you so I'll know where you are. Order rainbows in your favorite shade to show I love you. Thinking of you, write your name across the sky. Anything you ask, I'll try. 'Cause picture like Golly Wow. You're the one that I've been waiting for forever, and ever will my love for you keep growing strong, keep growing strong. Picture like Golly Wow. You're the one that I've been waiting for forever, and ever will my love for you keep growing strong, keep growing strong. Picture like Golly Wow. You're the one that I've been waiting for forever.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Join us every Thursday morning.
From 6 until at least 7:30,
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show.
right here on WSKB 89.5.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
I'm starting to feel a little bit more alive. So, Pete, is today the last day of school? Like, what's
Correct.
going on here? Today is the last day?
Yes.
Okay, because it's awfully quiet. I mean, it's usually still pretty quiet at 6:30, but
Yeah,
by now
it's a
you're
half day
kind
today.
of okay, half day today, and then that's it, right?
I believe Southwick Talent is out tomorrow.
Okay. I have to do a shout out to my sister-in-law who lives down in New Jersey. She has been teaching for, I don't know, a long time. Oh, well over 20 years. She is retiring. She's way
Lucky
younger than
her.
I am. Oh my God. She's been counting down the hours, and today is her last day. And she said, you know what though? As I've been hearing this for 2 years. But she said now it's almost bittersweet. She got this job right out of college. I believe in the same school system. She was in the same, not the same grade, but in the same school system. She taught elementary school. So congratulations, Janet Finnegan.
Wish I could retire.
Yeah, I know.
I have my retirement job already lined up. I just need to get to the point
You
where I can do
do?
it. Oh, yeah.
Will you share?
Yeah, I'm going to be an aviation and rocket photographer when I'm done.
Oh, Pete.
And I'm
See,
going to move down to
this-
Florida or Texas.
This is my problem. My
I
problem
know exactly
is
what I'm going to do.
my problem is I don't know exactly what I want to do. Like when I leave the senior center, I'm not ready to just clean my house every day, because that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Clean every closet and file everything and all that.
No, you should become like a consultant
But
to nursing homes and things like that.
there are just so many. There are a lot of options out there, but I haven't settled on one. I have a few ideas.
Because you're at a higher level than I am. Although I'm a department of one,
Yeah.
you're at a higher level because of your education and things like that. I don't have all that.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Then
But I'm good at what I do.
You are. You're awesome at what you do. But then there's another part. But there's another part of me that kind of is looking at what you're looking at, which is to just do something that's fun and that you're really interested in.
Right.
And that I think is part of my dilemma. Should I take all of my 40 plus years of experience in the field, which is what it is at this point, and do, whatever, consulting. I've done consulting before, do that kind of thing. Or, go in a completely different direction and just do something that would be a lot of fun.
I don't think NASA would take me at 50 plus.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You never know.
No, we don't know
But I
that.
think I've become a very good aviation photographer. 'Cause
Yeah.
People tell me my images on moving things are
Oh,
pretty good.
yes. Yeah.
So-
But you're right, Pete. So you would have to live in a different state.
Yeah, I'd live in either Florida or Texas.
Yeah. But
'Cause
you're
that's
good.
where the hopping stuff is right now.
Yeah, but you're good with that, right? You like the
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, you like
If I could move
You
to
like the heat and
Florida,
humidity.
if I could move to Florida right now, I would, because the pace of lifestyle there is different.
Yeah.
I'd probably be much healthier.
Well, it is different. I mean, it's
harder here.
It is different. Yeah. Well,
And
the
and
Northeast,
the pandemic was brutal on me.
Yeah, the whole
the amount of time I
Northeast.
had to sit.
Yeah.
I don't like to sit.
Yes.
I just had to sit.
Yeah. A lot of meetings, lots of virtual stuff.
Well, and then just sometimes it was like 7 hours in this chair because
Yeah.
I'd have stuff for you going on
I
and stuff
know.
for meetings going on that night, and
I know.
and you never get out.
I know. I was thinking,
But I'm looking at what I just put into like City Hall and stuff like that.
yeah.
Buying that for your exercise room, putting up a shotgun mic, and then I can record all your exercise. We can record the exercise stuff
Yeah.
and put them on the air.
Yeah.
Never do them live because that's
Yeah.
your program.
Right.
But record them for later playbacks.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to mount stuff in your place. Yeah.
Yep. Well, you know what? I keep reassuring people because I've had a lot of people who have asked me about the Channel 15 programming and now that things are opening up, are you going to take off the exercise? And I'm like, no, we recorded those. And I said, as long as Pete has, the time available on
Yeah.
TV, I said, we'll keep them. I mean, every once in a while we'll do a refresh and, change it up a little bit. But
What I'm saying is the refresh could actually come
could be from the
senior
exactly
center.
right, and so that's what I would want to do is is get it that way, which would be that would be perfect. I think that would be great.
Because I could buy more licenses for the system that I have now, and actually record it and bring it back here and record it. I think, yeah, I could do that because I did it last night.
Yeah. So
So-
that would be awesome.
Mhm.
But anyway, not to worry, all of you who have really come to rely on Channel 15, because, we do have people that just
Sometimes they
can't
go
get
through a
out.
bout of illness and they can't come to the
Well,
senior center.
either that, what I find even more, Pete, is caregivers. those who are caring for somebody who can't really get out of the house. So the caregiver can't get out because they're taking care of this person, can't leave them alone. And they absolutely so relied on Channel 15. I mean, they said it was an absolute godsend. But I think now they're sort of like, but is that going to go away because this really is helping me? Because for them, just because the pandemic's ending doesn't mean they're going to be able to leave the house any more than they could beforehand. But we gave them all these great tools.
Well, like we had talked about,
so-
putting a camera in the great room.
Yep.
And when you have a speaker series, as long as
Yep.
it's hooked up to your audio system, I could do that too.
Yep. And so we can absolutely, do that for when we get back into the swing of things. I think that's a great idea. And speaking of the great room, so before I forget, because I don't want to forget to do this shout out. So last Friday, Pete actually remembers not that long ago when we thought we were going to be doing parking lot bingo, but we didn't have to. We borrowed the equipment. We had everything set up, the laptop, the whole thing. And then we didn't have to do parking lot bingo because the governor opened things up a little sooner than we had anticipated. So we had our first in-person bingo game in like 15 months at the senior center on last Friday afternoon. It was, pre-registration. Everything is pre-registration right now. That'll open up in within the next few months. But right now, and so I think we had about 25 or 26 people. We were in the great room, in sort of half of the great room, because the other half looks like a distribution warehouse right now. And that's what, and people came in and that's what they said. It's like, oh my gosh, I said, welcome to our world for the last 15 months. When you do curbside, you need lots of stuff. But anyway, but I wanted to shout out and thank former Westfield Police Captain Mike McCabe, who was the sponsor of this month's bingo games. We gave away, because of his generosity, we gave away gift cards to the winners. So they all got $5 gift cards to, I think Mary Lou got them to Cumberland Farms, because we figured, you can get a coffee, you can get an ice cream, you can, get whatever you need there. And so we just had a ton of fun. And there were people that came on Friday that did not typically come to bingo before, but they were just so happy to get out of the house, be around other people.
How long have I been saying? I've been saying that since last September.
Oh my goodness. They had so much fun. And I had people coming through the lunch line on Monday saying, we had the best time at bingo on Friday. And the really hysterical thing, Pete, was, you would have loved this, because, normally we had all these bingo volunteers that ran bingo. They called it, they did all the stuff. Well, right now we still have, so we lost volunteers for one thing. I mean, we lost some volunteers due to the pandemic. Right. And so Mary Lou and I ran bingo. Well, two people who don't really know much about what they're doing. And we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of winners. So we sent some people home very happy. We had one woman who won, I think, twice. We had one. We had 2 to a table. We had the long tables. We had 2 to a table. Everything was arranged, and we said, you can't move the tables and chairs. Everything has to stay where it is. We had hand sanitizer everywhere, but we had a lot of fun. So
to prove that things are opening back up,
yes,
we were going to travel right after my girlfriend's birthday in October.
Yes.
Around Columbus Day weekend to Las Vegas.
Yes.
So I bought the airline tickets, and then I contacted my Vegas expert, Ken Stomsky, for finding hotels, and he goes, the prices are like $200 for midweek. He goes, that's ridiculous. He goes, oh, the National Association of Broadcasters convention.
Oh.
And maybe one other convention or some big music festival will be going on that weekend.
Yeah.
He goes, go another time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, go another time. So we rebooked for Nashville.
Okay.
And the flights alone were $700 cheaper.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, whoa. Okay.
The flights alone were $700 cheaper, and my girlfriend booked an Airbnb.
Okay.
And I booked a convertible Mustang.
Hopefully wow, isn't that cool? That's so fun. Gary did that. Gary and Grace did that one year. They went to Florida before Gracie moved down there, and they were doing apartment hunting. And so, they, like Gary said, let's rent a sports car. It was just the two of them. They had so much fun. Father-daughter bonding. So,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the time to do it. It's like, have some fun.
Right. So we're going to go to Nashville in October.
Very cool. That should be beautiful.
It's at mid-70s, it says.
Now, have you ever been to Nashville?
No.
Neither have I. So you'll have to come back and give us a full report.
Lots of honky tonks. World-renowned chef Manit Chauhan has a couple of restaurants down there.
Perfect.
And there's a lot of good places that she recommends to eat, that aren't even hers.
Wow. Excellent. Well, that should be a lot of fun.
And she owns a brewery, too, with her husband.
That should be a ton of fun. My brother lives in Tennessee, not near Nashville. He lives about an hour from Knoxville, between Knoxville and Chattanooga. But my niece, his daughter, went to Belmont College in Nashville, so she's much more familiar.
We just wanted to go somewhere that we haven't been yet.
Yeah, so I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. All right, let's hit one more birthday, and then we're going to take a break, and then I've got tons of Senior Center announcements to do before Jen Jafune joins us at the top of the hour. It is the final birthday for today. It is the birthday of actress Joan Van Ark. She was born on this date in 1943 in New York City. She's 78 years old today. She doesn't look all that different than she did when she was on Knots Landing. That's if you remember Valine. A life member of the Actors Studio, Joan Van Ark made her Broadway debut in 1966 in the show Barefoot in the Park, which, by the way, if you've never seen it, is hysterical. Van Ark landed her most famous role of Valine Ewing in 1978, first on the CBS series Dallas, and then for 13 seasons on its spin-off Knots Landing, which ran from 1979 to 1992. For this role, she won the Soap Opera Digest Award for Best Actress in 1986 and 1989. Van Ark left the show in 1992, although she did return for the final episode of the series in 1993 and for the 1997 miniseries Knots Landing Back to the Cul-de-Sac. In 1985, she received a Daytime Emmy Award nomination as host of the Tournament of Roses Parade on CBS. And from 2004 to 2005, she starred in the soap opera The Young and the Restless. So happy 78th birthday to Joan Van Ark. And as I said, if you look at pictures of her, she looks she looks exactly the way she did. Maybe a few more wrinkles than when she played Valine Ewing, but nonetheless. All right, it is 7:46. You are listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. So in honor of the birthday of Eric Siegel, who wrote the book and the screenplay Love Story, which was a huge hit back in 1970, we are going to listen to Andy Williams singing the theme from Love Story. We'll be back.
Where do I begin to tell the story of how great a love can be? The sweet love story that is older than the sea. The simple truth about the love she brings to me. Where do I start? With her first hello, she gave a meaning to this empty world of mine. There'd never be another love, another time. She came into my life and made the living fine. She fills my heart. She fills my heart with very special things, with angel songs, with wild imaginings. She fills my soul with so much love that anywhere I go, I'm never lonely with her along. Who could be lonely? I reach for her hand, it's always there. How long does it last? Can love be measured by the hours in a day? I have no answers now, but this much I can say. I know I'll need her till the stars all burn away, and she'll be there.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:50. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Morning.
I see the food guys are kind of wandering in. I see people chefs carrying eggs and things like that. So are they going to be cleaning out the cooler?
I think everything's. I looked in there yesterday, and the walk-in refrigerator is off, and all of the stuff is in there. So.
Oh. Wow.
I don't know. Maybe they're just doing some last-minute stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe making breakfast for everybody this morning.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So listen. So for the last several weeks, we have been talking about scaling up operations at the senior center, which we have started to do. So please do me a favor, because we're getting lots of phone calls. We're getting lots of people asking us, well, what's happening? What are you doing? Which programs are running? What's outside? What's inside?
Why don't they just look at the newsletter?
Here is the June news. You know what, Pete? I've gotten to the point where I will not answer questions anymore. I simply say to people, because it happened to me again yesterday on several occasions. Somebody called, well, when are you opening? Blah, blah, blah. I said, have you read the June newsletter? Well, no. I said, well, you need to, because when you read the June newsletter, cover to cover, including, by the way, here's your middle section, okay, which has, during the pandemic, we had pictures in this section. Now it's chock full of information. What programs are under the tent, what programs are under the roof, and what programs are curbside, when they are, when all registration is. Every single thing that you need to know about what's going on is in this newsletter. So I am telling people now, get the newsletter, read the newsletter. If after you read the whole thing, you still have questions, then call me, because then I can answer specific things. But nobody has called back. Why? Because every single thing that you need to know is in this newsletter. I spent like a cajillion hours writing this newsletter. Thank you, Pete. So so let's talk about, how do you get the newsletter? That's becoming a little bit more of the question that people are asking. So first of all, if you are computer savvy, and I have been getting some calls from family members who are computer savvy, go to the City of Westfield, go to the website in the City of Westfield. Under departments, click Council on Aging.
That's right.
That's all you have to do. If you scroll all the way down, the last thing you'll see is the latest newsletter. Click on it, and there it is. Okay, so that, if you're computer savvy, that's the easiest way to do it. The local pharmacies all have them. Now, sometimes they kind of put them toward the back. They're never in the same place. So some of them have it near where the pharmacy section is, where you pick up your medications. Some have it near the cash register. But just ask. Walgreens has them, CVS, Stop and Shop, Arrow Drug. So just say, I'd like the Senior Center newsletter. They have them there. Senior Housing has them. We have them up at Hampton Village. We have them at Alice Burke Way. We have them at all the senior housing, Washington House, all of them. We also have them, and a lot of people are taking advantage now. If you go to the senior center outside, next to the front door, there is a large tan bin. Not the drop box that looks like a mailbox. The bin. It's big. It's for patio cushions and stuff. And it's got a dark green top. If you open it up, it's filled with newsletters. We check it. I check it almost every day just to make sure there are plenty in there. So you can come anytime, 24/7, weekends. You can send your grandkids to, go get the news. Stop by the senior center if you're driving by there. Pick up a couple newsletters. I have people doing it all the time now. So that's a great way. If none of those work for you, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I will mail you a copy of the newsletter. But quite honestly, folks, that newsletter is packed with information. If it's not in the newsletter, we're not doing it.
Because that's all part of the plan.
It is. That's part of the plan. So please, 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 and I'm happy to review what we're doing, but it's really helpful to just get the newsletter because it should answer all of your questions. If a program is not in the newsletter in June, it means we're not doing it yet.
It doesn't exist.
We're not doing it yet. It's coming. Everything is coming. Everything is coming. But, it is a process. Please understand, first of all, I have not had a full staff for the pandemic. I still have people that are out, furloughed. I have a person who left. So I mean, it's not like we're going to throw open the doors and be back to the way we used to be. But we are getting there. I believe this month we're doing 8 indoor programs and 3 fitness programs outside and curbside lunches. And curbside lunches, because I keep getting asked this question as well. So curbside lunches will continue through the month of July. And we are looking at talking about, and I think seriously considering continuing curbside lunches 1 day a week. Because we have some folks that are coming through that curbside lunch line who, for a variety of reasons, would not be able to get in and have the meal indoors. And we have a lot of people that like it and would like us to continue. And a lot of the senior centers are looking at Westfield to see how this works because they're all trying to figure out. Most of us can't do both curbside and indoor. We just don't have the staffing for that. And our parking lots. And our parking lots don't really allow it. It just really would not be safe with, people coming through the parking lot, people walking through. But we are, and I have a lot of eyes of other directors that like this idea of doing it once a week. And on that 1 day a week, we will not do indoor. It would just be curbside. So that's.
Yeah, because you got to gear up for that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different planning strategy that we have to do. Curbside and indoor are really different. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. And so, stay tuned. But all of that will be in the newsletter. But at least through the month of July, I can tell you that we will continue with dining outside and we'll continue with some of the outdoor fitness. But we will be adding some stuff in July. So working on that newsletter diligently. Really important right now for anybody who's coming to the senior center for anything, whether it's to pick up medical equipment, whether it's curbside lunches, whether it's for a program, whether it's under the tent or inside. We have officially changed the traffic flow. So the signs went up, and again, a shout out and a thank you to DPW. They were at the senior center on Sunday painting arrows in my parking lot and putting up signage. So the official entrance, we have one entrance and one exit into the parking lot. The official entrance is off of Murphy Circle, which is the entrance farthest from the building. And the official exit is right next to the building. It's right directly out onto Noble Street. Please don't come in the wrong way. The arrows are painted, the signs are up. But I know it's going to it'll take people getting used to it that don't come through the lunch line, because the people that have been coming through the lunch line are very used to coming in that entrance and leaving by the exit. So we've made it official, at least for now. Also, I understand, I think I read this in the Republican, I believe, and I don't know if you heard this, Pete, that the vaccination site at the Biggie, I believe, will be closing in July, or?
Might already be. I know Westfield's participation in it for EMT-wise is done.
Okay. My understanding
was
Springfield
was going to take it over because numbers kept getting smaller and smaller.
Yep. And my understanding is that they're closing it in July. I don't know if it'll be like July 1st. So,
I'm signing up for the lottery thing. Did you see that?
No,
if you're fully vaccinated?
No, what is it?
Vaxamillions or something like that. They're going to give away a couple $1 million prizes.
Is that at the state level?
Yes.
Well, a lot of
through
states
the lottery.
I understand a lot of states are doing that. California's
Screw that! I'm
giving
signing
away
up
money.
for it. If they're going to give me free money, I'm taking it.
Sure, why not? All right. So again, though, part of the reason they're closing the Big East site is because you can get the vaccine at your local pharmacy. Here in Westfield, you can get it at Arrow Drug.
Originally, it was easier doing mass vaccination sites because of limited quantities.
Yep, but now
there's no need.
Stop and Shop Pharmacy.
They partner with all the national
Arrow,
chains.
CVS, and Walgreens in Westfield. So you've got all of those options, folks. No excuses if you want it. And also, if you are over 60 and you need transportation, just give us a call at the senior center. We will make sure that we have trained volunteers that will get you there. And also for those who are homebound, that's so much easier than it had been a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I'm going to give you a number to call. It's 833-983-0485. If you are homebound, all you have to do if you want a vaccine is you call that number. They will register you over the phone. If you forget the number, just call the senior center. My staff has it. We all have that because we continue to get people calling. We've had some people that have been hospitalized and they said, they got out of the hospital. It's like, oh, now we need a vaccine. And, we now we're homebound. I had one woman who
surprised they didn't give it to her in the hospital.
You know what? I had a woman, Pete, and I agree with you, but I had a woman who came through, I think to borrow some medical equipment. She said her husband was just discharged from the hospital. Why they didn't give it to him in the hospital, we're not sure. I don't know which hospital he was in, but she said, she said now he really is homebound for at least, several months. So I said, here
Crazy.
you go.
By the way, I see Whip City Travelers is back at it.
Oh, really?
In your newsletter. They've got a trip coming up, August 12th through the 19th.
Yeah, that trip has been planned. They actually had planned that one several months ago. We've been running that one. So I have to get in touch with them to see if they're going to start doing some day trips. They are not open for business yet, but again, you know what, Pete, and all the senior centers are in the same boat. As we are scaling up operations, we have to look at the volunteers that are still around
available
and want to do it. Some people are, some people moved in with family and they're happy and they left the area and we got all kinds of things. But speaking of volunteers, I have to make this announcement before we take our top of the hour break. We had one of our volunteers got married over the weekend secretly. She they're two of my seniors. So if anybody's listening, Bruce Kenyon, because all my seniors know Bruce Kenyon and Marion Mastretta, tied the knot. They were engaged before COVID, and they both are widowed, and this is a second marriage for them. But they didn't. So they came through the lunch line, and we found out when they called in for lunch. They told us
they eloped.
They did. They snuck away on Friday night because, and I said to them, they said,
love it.
Wasn't it a rat? They said we didn't want. Their kids all knew they were getting married, but they said we didn't want a fuss and we didn't want any presents, and we didn't want like a party or anything like that. So they said we didn't want to tell our kids exactly when we were doing it because they would have thrown a party and had gifts and all that. And they said we didn't want any of that. We wanted to be quiet about it. So they
might do that for my second marriage and then have a party when we come back.
Yeah, they said there were 5 of them. It was Marion and Bruce, and they had 2 friends that kind of stood up for them and a minister. And I forget which church they said they did it at on Friday night. And they said they sent a text to their kids, and the text read, "On our way." And that's all it said. They were on their way to the church. And they said, and then they texted, an hour later and said, "Okay, we are now married."
My brother did that. He went to Key West and got married at the hotel.
Okay.
Because you have to have a certified hotel planner if you go to Florida.
Okay.
And the hotel had one on staff.
Okay. Cool.
So they let the kids know, but they didn't let mom know.
Okay.
Because mom is traditional. She wanted to be part of it. They let me know, too.
Yeah.
Don't tell mom. Don't tell mom. And she didn't tell her parents
Don't you
either.
love it? It's like when you have a secret like that, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah, she didn't tell her parents either, so, yeah.
Well, it's big, exciting news.
It'll
at
probably be
the
the same
center.
thing for us if I ever get remarried.
Now, when we come back, I do have...
Which might be a possibility down the road.
Oh, Pete. Ooh, we're getting the dirt. All right, well, listen, I have Jen waiting in the wings, but Jen, I got to tell you right now, when you come in, we still have a few things to talk about before we get into the Diabetes Dialogue segment. It is 7:03. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. We'll be back. It's 7:03. We'll be back.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
Join us the third Wednesday of every month with Selectman Joe Didi and his take on everything Southwick.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:06. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is in the studio behind the glass over there pushing...
Over in the control room.
Pushing all the buttons, as Harry Rock likes to say. And our guest this morning is Jen Jafune. It's the third Wednesday of the month. Don't you feel like it was just like a week ago it was the third Wednesday of the month?
Yes.
It's the third Wednesday of a different month. And so it is our Diabetes Dialogue segment. But of course, I have more announcements to make before we get into that,
She never
Jen.
runs
Sorry.
out of announcements.
I know. Yeah. I don't run out. Well, because we get sidetracked with talking about other things like Pete's love life, which he threw at me right before we went to break. Okay, so just a couple things.
I love throwing her off her game. It's fun to see, like, sometimes when there's no guest.
I know, right?
I love to see if I can throw Tina off her game, and I know if Gary's listening, he chuckles every time I do it.
Yeah, he does. Well, of course, Gary spends his life trying to reel me back in because, like, when I tell a story, I'm like my mother. I get sidetracked over here and over there, and Gary will be going, okay, but you were telling me about...
I had a lifetime experience doing that with my mom, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I know how to figure it out.
Get it back. All right. So first of all, for those of you, because this program is limited through the month of June, there's a rental assistance program going on. It's for people who are having problems either paying their mortgage or their rent and are in danger of being evicted. And that program is it's a grant through the Community Development Block Grant. The money has to be accounted for during the month of June. So we have had people from Valley Opportunity Council, because that's who's working on this grant with the city of Westfield, with PJ Miller over in the planning department. They are at the senior center under the tent every Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoon. They'll walk you through the application process. So, they've had people stopping. We've had people coming. We've had people calling. Are they going to be there? I'll be there this afternoon. So they are there from 1 to 3 on Tuesday and Thursday through the month of June. So you only have a few more Tuesdays and Thursdays in June. So please don't wait till the last minute. As I said, they will help you with the application. They will answer any questions that you have. So, whoops, you lost me, Pete. Okay.
Wrong mic.
All right. So anyway, that's that. For those who are interested in any of the indoor programming at the Senior Center, here's what's on tap for the rest of the month. We're doing chess every Monday afternoon. This is by far one of my favorite groups because these men come in, they have their chess sets. We started 2 weeks ago. It's hysterical. Every Monday afternoon from 1, right now it's 1 to 2:30. We'll extend it 1 to 3 in July. They bring their chess sets, which, by the way, we have chess sets there. So if you've never played chess, they'll teach you how to play. But you go into that room, they sit down, we have the table set up, and then it's like you could hear a pin drop in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's chess.
Right.
It's quiet, and they're thinking. And somebody said to me, one of my board members said, I thought about playing chess, and she said, and she went one time just to kind of observe.
Right.
And she said, and then I realized that nobody talks. And she said, I didn't think I could possibly go an hour and a half without talking. So she decided to join the book group instead.
That makes more sense.
Which is much more discussion. So we were laughing about that. But anyway, chess, just remember that if you want to do any of the programs, you do have to call us. So just let us know. We'll put your name on the list. But we do have some room capacities. But we still have room with chess. We're doing the art class is meeting on Thursday afternoons. And again, you have to pre-register for that. And that is 1:30 to 3. Next week, the Sassy Stitchers will come back. That's our knit and crochet group. So they'll be on Wednesday afternoons. Of course, remember that all this is in the June newsletter. The quilting group, the Peacemakers Quilting Group, they're actually coming back this Friday, day after tomorrow. Is that right? Yes, day after tomorrow.
Yes.
I know. It's like, I don't even know what day it is. Pete and I woke up in the middle of the night, and that was it for us. So we're going on.
Wait,
I'm going
you
on.
didn't go back to sleep?
No, I woke up
I
at
did.
2 o'clock. I woke up at 2 o'clock with brain chatter because Mary Lou's on vacation. So all this stuff that we're doing, forget it. So anyway, Peacemakers
Sometimes the
Quilting
type A
Group,
can't shut down.
it was just impossible.
we
I
know.
tried all of the.
That's what makes you good at your job, but that's also what keeps you up at night.
Exactly. So anyway, the Peacemakers Quilting Group is meeting under the tent. We have the line dancers on Friday. Again, just call us and let us know to add you to the list. We have the mail call, men only, sorry, women. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning from 8 to 9. And we have, at the end of the month, the last Wednesday of the month, we'll have Carol Palmer's Totally Fun Fitness under the tent from 9 to 10.
She had way too much fun doing that show in here. She was involved in it because she kept shouting me out during the show.
Well, I am working with Carol to get her into the senior center when we, bring fitness back into the senior center either later this summer or certainly by fall, because I think she would have a huge following.
Yeah.
So anyway, just remember, folks, all the programs are pre-registration only, so you have to call ahead for all of them so that we can get you on our list. Everybody who does any program has to sign a release of liability form. This is what it looks like. There is an updated list of, do's and don'ts on the back. It basically says come in at your own risk. Like, the city's not responsible if you get sick, but it also says we are doing everything we can to keep you as safe as possible. So, and we will continue to do that. And again, when people say, well, why can't you just open up? Because right now we have all kinds of protocols for cleaning and sanitizing after a group leaves. We got to clean and sanitize the whole room. And that includes the under the tent fitness. So like all the chairs, everything has to be cleaned and wiped down and sanitized and all that good stuff. So anyway, we are working hard at doing all that. But again, all of the Channel 15 programming continues. In June, we have for the Westfield Council on Aging Presents series, Jen Fernandez did her program on Tuesday afternoons. It's on Thrive. Which, are you familiar with that, Jen? Oh, it's an awesome program. It's a money management, and they help people with budgeting and money management and coaching. And we find that, a lot of times, older adults, it doesn't matter what your educational level is. If you had a couple and they're in their 80s or 90s or even their 70s or 60s, and one person did, wrote the checks, did all the banking, handled all the money, paid all the bills, and that person passes away or goes to a nursing home or becomes incapacitated, and the other person is like, I've never done this.
Right.
I mean, that's not you. That is
it's not unusual.
Far more common than people realize. And again, it has nothing to do with the person not being smart. It's like they never had to do it. So anyway, Thrive, it's a great program. We've referred a lot of people. So that is the educational program with Harry Rock interviewing Jen Fernandez. So that's every Tuesday afternoon at 2:45. And the entertainment program this month is John Lucido. John used to perform with Spunk and Sass. It was a duo. Husband and wife team, but I think the husband and wife went their separate ways. So John's performing solo. Okay. And he did a great job. So those are Wednesday afternoon. So that'll be.
He was a lot of fun to work with too.
Yeah, that'll be this afternoon at 2:40. Well, I actually met John, and the reason I found out about him was because he did something at the new senior center with sound speakers. I don't remember who he worked for, but anyway, he was over there.
He used to work for ATC.
Okay, that was it then. It was ATC because they did the sound system
Correct,
in
yes.
the fitness room and in the great room.
Yep.
So, and he gave me his card and he said, "Oh, do you ever need entertainment?" I said, "Yeah, all the time." So he's really great. So that'll be this afternoon. It's Wednesday afternoon at 2:40 and Saturday evening at 6 o'clock. So, all right. So we're going to take a short break and then we're going with Jen's song, which is No Sugar Tonight by the Guess Who. So let's do that. It is 7:15. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. Jen DeFune is my guest this morning. It's Diabetes Dialogue, and the topic is controlling cholesterol levels. Do I have that right?
That is correct.
I didn't mess that up. Okay. All right. So we will be back. We're going to listen to her theme song, No Sugar Tonight by the Guess Who, and we'll be back with Diabetes Dialogue.
us all. Lonely feelings, jealousy's a yes, and I believe in inside of the things I say. Find the corner, she hasn't got the faith or the guts to leave. Well, when they're standing in each other's way. Silent footsteps out to places you've been to. You wonder what you're gonna find. Sudden darkness, you've been wrong and it won't be long before you leave them all far behind. 'Cause it's the new Mother Nature taking over. It's the new splendid lady come to call. It's the new Mother Nature taking over. She's getting us all. She's getting us all.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:21. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is behind the glass there pushing lots of buttons. And my guest this morning is Jen Jafune, registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist. She is the facilitator of our monthly Diabetes Dialogue segment. And so I'm going to kick it off and then pass it over to Jen. June is National Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Month, and I saved this one since it's the whole month. I said, well, we're doing this one when Jen's around. So I will read a little bit about that and then pass it off to Jen to take over. So add color to your meals during National Fresh Fruit and Vegetables Month in June. As the peak season for many early garden crops find their way into markets, it's an excellent time to take advantage of these freshly picked fruits and vegetables. Berries and salad items come to mind first, but don't hesitate to try exotic produce too. As we head into a season where more variety is available, our family gets to enjoy the benefits of early summer's bounty in vibrant color. From zucchini and tomatoes, leafy greens, onions, and avocado, each provides added fiber, protein, and vital nutrients. Whether we eat them as a snack, on a salad, or in a smoothie, it's important to have, I didn't know if this was correct, 5 servings of fruit and vegetables per day. Is it still that, or are we?
Well, yes and no.
Okay, hold that thought, and then I'm passing it to you. So save that one. I wasn't even sure I should put that in there because I thought, oh, Jen will correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so here's how to observe National Fresh Fruits and Vegetable Month. I mean, really, folks, what do you think? Skip the canned and frozen aisle and check out the delicious fresh fruits and vegetables coming into the grocery store. Farmers Market, which, by the way, Farmers Market opened last week or the week before at the Church of the Atonement, on the right near the Green on Court Street, Thursdays from 12 to 5. And even your garden every day in June. So visit a pick your own fruit and vegetable farm and bring home the fruits of your labor. Savor the goodness of these delicious foods. And yes, I do have this. I did write a note to myself. Sometimes I amaze myself. Westfield's Farmers Market is open Thursdays on the lawn of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement at 36 Court Street from noon to 5. It'll run every Thursday until October 14th. Rain or shine, and just remember, parking is behind the church. Please don't park like in the Arbor's parking lot and walk across the lawn because they need their parking spaces. Okay, I'm passing it over to Jen.
Okay, so I know the plan is to talk about heart health, but because it's Fruit and Vegetable Month,
we can incorporate.
Yes.
Because that's good for your heart.
So it is. Something that I've done for the first time ever is I joined a farm share. So it was new to me, and I wanted to share it with you guys.
Yes. What's a farm share?
Okay, so what happens is, first of all, a shout out to my farm. It's Yellowstone Farm, and it's here in Westfield.
Oh, yay.
And you pay money up front.
Okay.
And I should have looked how much I paid. I can't remember.
Okay.
But it's several $100s.
Okay.
Which is a big chunk of money. But what happens is every other week, starting this past Saturday, I get to go to the farm, and there's a room, a big-ish room, and there were boxes set up with different produce as they were available. And it would say, take one of these or take two of these. And you get a bag, and you just walk around and take all the stuff that they tell you to take, and they give you recipes to try some things that you may not know.
I love that they give you recipes, because I think my first thought is, well, what if I take something that I've never prepared before, so I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Right. So
I think that's great.
I felt like a kid in a candy store. It was like, oh my God, this is so great.
It's a dietitian's delight.
Yes. And I paid extra, so I'm getting farm fresh eggs every other week as well. And the other benefit is that if there are things growing out in the fields that aren't part of that farm share, I get a discounted rate on those.
Okay.
So
now let me just backtrack a minute and just clarify something. So when you go shopping and it says take one of these or take two or three, are you paying for that, or was that part of the upfront?
Paid.
Okay, so that was that upfront several $100s or whatever, however much it was.
Right.
So now when you shop on your every other Saturday morning, specified with what's available, that's that's at no cost because you already paid up front.
Right. That's
okay.
Prepaid.
And so then you paid extra for the eggs.
Right. So I paid an upfront for the eggs.
Oh, okay.
And so every other week I get a dozen eggs.
Okay.
And I have this little baking thing that I like to do for my mom. So that's just perfect. And then
and now this other thing you talked about is if there's something
extra.
Okay. Out in the field?
Out in the fields you can go pick. So they said this past Saturday that sugar snap peas were going to start being available midweek, and it's you pick. So there was a rate for anyone, and then there was a rate for
the
farm
members
share
of the
people.
farm share.
And they also had like a table set up. So I got a quart of strawberries included in my farm share.
Yep.
But if I wanted another one, there was a discounted rate for farm share people.
Okay.
So it was great. And the only holdup was there were some things that I was significantly less familiar with.
So what can you name one?
Yeah,
like what were you significantly less familiar with?
Okay, so rhubarb was one.
Okay.
And
I mean, we know what it is, but
I
hadn't prepared
never
it. Yeah.
liked rhubarb.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I've got these 8 stalks of rhubarb. And I went home, and my husband was so funny. He goes, great, strawberry rhubarb pie. And I was just like, yeah,
sure,
great.
Okay.
So, I made strawberry rhubarb pie.
And is rhubarb, you may or may not know this, I suspect that it's easy to grow, because anybody that I ever know that has had a garden, even a small garden,
they have a lot of it.
Yes, grew rhubarb. So I'm thinking it must be easy to grow. I'm not a fan. It's very stringy.
Well, I looked up, how do you process rhubarb? Because I didn't know. And you're supposed to peel the stringy part off and then cut it up.
Okay.
So, I had to do a little digging around to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
And there was kale, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm like, I have kale now, so what am I going to do with
What did you do with the kale? I'm curious about that.
I have heard about massaging the kale, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
Neither do
I. So I looked it up, and you chop up the kale so that it's looks like almost like the shredded lettuce you would get on like a sandwich.
Yeah. Okay.
And
kale, for those who don't, it's a
dark
large,
green, leafy.
Yeah, very leafy, very dark. Yeah. Okay.
And it's thicker.
Yeah.
You know what? It's thicker than lettuce. I would say it feels between lettuce and cabbage.
Yes.
And so you're supposed to put olive oil and salt on it and then rub it in for at least 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm not a huge salt, like I don't eat a lot of salt.
Yeah.
So, there were ranges of how much to put in. So I put in the lowest range there was. And I massaged it, and
you
it
do
got
each
softer.
leaf kind of thing?
Well, I kind of just
kind of like
with
all
my
of them,
hands
kinda,
rubbing it all in. It did get softer, and I think that's the purpose.
Okay.
And I thought that it was less bitter after the olive oil got rubbed into it.
Okay.
So I put it into a salad.
Well, that's what I was going to say because I'm like not big. I know people cook kale.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it even in the frozen.
Right.
But I'm more of a salad person. But that was my thing about it. It's like it felt so tough. We gave it we gave it away one year at the brown bag program because they often have fresh produce in the summer, and everybody was asking us like, "What do I do with this?" Because you could tell it's not regular lettuce because it is thicker.
It is,
and
it's
I said
almost on a rubbery side.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you
after the
massaged
olive
it.
oil and salt thing for 3 minutes. Then every recipe I found for salady kale was to throw lemon in it after that.
Okay.
So I did, and I would say it was okay.
Okay.
It was not my favorite, but it was okay.
But now I understand. Are there a lot of nutrients in kale though? That's what you see. That's what I've heard. It's like
rich.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was an okay.
But did you have it with other like I tend to throw a bunch of greens together, you know, red leaf and green leaf and
there was
romaine and all
and they gave us lettuce, so I mixed it with the lettuce and then I put in tomatoes and I like to shred carrots.
Okay.
So I threw that in and like a whole mess of things.
Okay.
And I like to contrast the bitterness of those with diced up dates. So I buy those medjool dates. They're like huge. They look like a giant raisin.
Dicing up
and
dates.
I slice it up and throw that in. Kind of gives a nice contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dates, huh?
Yeah. I love dates.
You know what? That's one of those things that I don't really think about.
Yeah,
but
it's like my candy. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And they gave us pak choy, which is kind of like a cabbage, an Asian cabbage.
Okay.
That I put into a coleslaw. And it was an olive oil vinegar. It had caraway seeds, which for some reason I have. I don't use them otherwise.
Yeah.
Bok choy is very good.
Well, this wasn't bok choy.
It wasn't
this was
bok choy? Really?
Pak choy.
There's a difference.
P-A-K.
Oh, okay.
Pak choy.
And it was,
Interesting.
so it was delicious. And so, you know, that gets an excellent in the cookbook notes.
Because your husband loved it, right?
Joe loved it. But I did bring a couple of books because I can't help myself. This book is now my new best friend called Simply in Season. And it goes seasonal. I mean, it's even color-coded.
Now that's a book that I could handle, a color-coded book. I love it.
So, you know, there's spring, summer, winter, and fall recipes. So I thought that was great. And then this is one of my all-time favorite books, How to Cook Everything Vegetarian.
Very good.
So the author is Mark Bittman. Very easy to understand recipes and things that I thought I didn't like, I actually do because his recipes make them taste good.
Wow.
So
that's great.
Those are now my new best friends because every 2 weeks you don't know what you're getting until you get there. I guess they must have something on their website that says what's in, but I'm not looking all the time.
Because you're just like, I'll just go shop and
Yep.
figure out what to make here.
Right. So, you know, I am so excited. And apparently it goes through the fall. I didn't know that because I should have
I didn't
read
really
the
even think about
information
that,
better. But yeah, they have root vegetables and stuff in the fall. But the other thing that I have to do is process some of this.
Okay.
So, you know, like I crushed and froze some of the berries.
Yep.
And, you know, I like to freeze everything. So I'm learning how to, you know, blanch, where you put it in boiling water for a few seconds to stop the breakdown of the enzymes.
Okay.
And then put it in ice cold water, and then you can freeze it, and the broccoli will look green when you take it out. In the future, things like that.
I never knew what blanching was. I've heard of it, but I didn't really know exactly what the technique was.
Yeah, so it's going to be a wonderful
well, we'll just follow along as the summer goes on and into the fall, and we'll just see how this farm share goes. All right, let's take a little break. It is 7:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. And in honor of our topic today, we're doing we'll get around to the cholesterol thing, I think, at some point.
Yes, that's next.
That's next. Okay, but we're talking fruits and vegetables, one way to lower cholesterol. So we're going to listen to Peter, Paul, and Mary singing Lemon Tree.
When I was just a lad of 10, my father said to me, Come here and take a lesson from the lovely lemon tree.
Don't put your faith in love, my boy, my father said to me. I fear you'll find that love is like the lovely lemon tree.
Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. One day beneath the lemon tree, my love and I did lie. A girl so sweet that when she smiled, the stars rose in the sky. We passed that summer lost in love beneath the lemon tree.
The music of her laughter hid my father's words from me.
Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. One day she left without a word. She took away the sun, and in the dark she'd left behind, I knew what she had done. She'd left me for another, it's a common tale but true.
A sadder man but wiser now, I sing these words to you. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, lemon tree, lemon tree.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donuts shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield. Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:38. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and in the studio this morning is Jen Jaffoon, our registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, and the facilitator of our Diabetes Dialogue segment. And I did promise that we would get around to talking a little bit about cholesterol. We've been talking fruits and vegetables, and all of that was sort of the foundation for bringing us to the cholesterol conversation. So
it's all good.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Okay, so I thought we should start with just defining what cholesterol is.
Okay.
We all have it, and we all worry about it, but what is it?
Exactly.
So it is, if you were to look at it, it's a fat, waxy-like substance. And we need it for so many things to function correctly in our body. So people think it's all bad. But
I want to have a zero cholesterol level, but that would not,
that would not work.
help. That doesn't work.
So cholesterol helps with hormone function. It helps with nerves. It helps with digestion.
Okay.
It's needed. We actually make all the cholesterol that we need.
Okay.
So we don't ever have to eat cholesterol.
Okay.
So if your liver works, you have the cholesterol your body needs. Sorry, I have something in my eye.
Okay.
And so even though there's a recommendation to keep it under 300 milligrams when you eat it, we don't ever have to eat it.
Okay.
All right. So in your body, you have cholesterol. And when you get tested, you get a number called total cholesterol. And that's all the good and the bad cholesterol put together. That's what that result is.
Okay.
The goal is to be under 200.
Okay.
So
for your total cholesterol.
For your total cholesterol. And then usually people get 3 other things tested when they get their cholesterol looked at.
Okay.
The LDL, the HDL, and something no one knows what it is, triglycerides.
Okay.
So LDL, the long and short of it is LDL is the bad cholesterol.
Okay.
And the way I remember that is LDL starts with L, lousy starts with L.
Okay.
Low starts with L. So you want your lousy cholesterol to be low. The lower, the better.
Oh, okay.
So I've always remembered it that way.
Okay.
Because if LDL is high, it will help clog arteries and increase your risk for heart attack and stroke.
Okay.
So the numbers for LDL, in general, you want to be below 100.
Okay.
But if you have diabetes and heart disease, you really want to be below 70.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. So that's our target, 70.
LDL is the bad.
Okay. Lousy.
HDL is the good. HDL starts with H, so does heart healthy, happy, and so does high. So you want your HDL to be high.
Okay.
And the reason you want it to be high is it basically travels through the bloodstream, grabs onto the bad, the LDL, and gets rid of it. So the higher the HDL, the lower the LDL.
Okay.
And HDL for men and women is different.
Okay.
The results that you want it to be. So men need it to be 45 or higher. Women need it to be 55 or higher.
Okay.
And that's just the way it is.
Yep.
And so I have a lot of people who add up HDL and LDL, but it doesn't equal the total.
Yes.
And the reason is there are other DLs. And that's why you can't, the math isn't right. Because I used to have people call me and go, well, you got this wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
The math doesn't add up.
Exactly. The labs are wrong.
I'm the first person to admit I'm not a math lead, but I can add and subtract,
Yeah.
So the last test you get when you're having that cholesterol panel done, it's called a lipid panel, but your cholesterol test done, is triglycerides.
Okay.
Tri means 3.
Yep.
Glyceride means fat. So it's basically 3 fats stuck together, traveling through the body. And the reason we look at this is when there are triglycerides in the blood, the body doesn't like it to be high. So it will send a message to take it out of the blood and lay it down as fat. And it gets laid down right around the middle of your body. And where are all your organs? Almost all of them, right there in the middle.
Yep.
So if your triglycerides are high, you will have an increased risk of heart attack and stroke, fatty liver, all kinds of problems. Okay, so that sets the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay, so your body cholesterol goes up and down mostly based not on the cholesterol that you eat, but on the fat that you eat.
Okay.
If you eat a high-fat diet, your cholesterol is going to go up because it's going to make that lousy LDL go
up
higher instead of lower.
Okay.
And the type of fat you eat also plays a role in whether your cholesterol goes up or down. If you eat a lot of saturated fat, which is the fat we'll find in meat, and butter and lard, it's solid at room temperature without any chemical changes.
Okay.
That LDL is going to go up.
Okay.
and that will make your total cholesterol go up. Now, the HDL, the stuff that you want to be higher because it's heart healthy and it makes us all happy, that goes up and down mostly based on cardio-based exercise.
Okay.
That's the biggest, that has the biggest impact.
Okay.
Food-wise, it's eating heart-healthy fats, and it is eating things like oats. That's why oatmeal is always touted as the best thing you could eat, because that'll have an impact on this HDL.
Okay.
And so the goal is to choose fat wisely, portion control it, and make sure that it's more of a heart-healthy one.
Okay.
And that's going to make the total cholesterol either go higher or lower, and of course we want it to go lower for most people. Completely separate are those triglycerides. It has nothing to do with the amount of fat you eat. And that's why it's an important topic for our group, because excess carbohydrates. So if you eat enough carbs, and they're high fiber, they're whole grains, they're fruits and vegetables, and it's in the right amounts, you're fine. But if you go over and you eat larger quantities, or you eat junk food, and I know I hate using that word, but everybody knows what it means.
Sure, of course.
You know, the sugary treats and extras.
Exactly.
And you're having trouble breaking down carbs. You know, once the sugar gets in the blood, the body doesn't like that. And so a message goes to the brain, the blood sugar is too high, and the brain says, settle down. I'm going to change those excess, that excess blood sugar into triglycerides. And then the body goes, the triglycerides are high, and the brain sends a message down. Don't worry about it. I'm going to lay it down as fat.
So don't worry. You'll just have an extra tire over here.
Yeah. So even though it's tested when we're looking at these fat-affected blood components, the LDL and HDL, triglycerides really come at it from a different perspective, and that would be excess carbs. So it doesn't mean you can't have carbs. It just means you would have to portion control them. So
and
really,
it would be the right kinds of carbs.
Right.
I mean, that's
right,
as you were saying.
So, you know, I always have people come in and go, well, I had all, you know, my cholesterol tested, and you know, my total cholesterol is okay, and often they're medicated, so it definitely helps keep it down. My triglycerides were high, but I'm following a low-fat diet.
Yeah,
and I say
that's nice.
That's helping with the cholesterol, the LDL, you know, a little bit with the HDL, but it's doing nothing for your triglycerides.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
And the funniest thing is, I hear this every single time. I eat peanut butter because I know it's healthy for me, but I get the low-fat one. And so first of all the heart-healthy stuff has been dumped down the drain. And when they take out fat, which is a flavor enhancer, what do you suppose they throw into that peanut butter?
I'm going to guess either salt, sugar,
both.
Something,
Salt and sugar. So now you're getting excess sugars, which are going to make those triglycerides go up.
See, I've got it. I'm right. I got it. Okay, I have it.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
So what do you do? First of all,
well, we're going to hold that, and we're going to come back to what do you do after we take a break. We're going to find out what do you do. It is 7:48. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. So I thought we'd do a vegetable song. This one is Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:52. Pete, Jen
That
is
will never get old.
Jen is over here cracking up. I said Pete and I laugh every time I don't know what's funnier, Bob saying I did it or JPEG Luca cracking up in the background. Because
The other funny one is Michael Buster McMahon's one.
I love his too. It's like
Have you heard Michael's? Oh, I'll play that one. Hold on.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
89.5
I love that one too. It's like
That was off the cuff too.
I'm not the boss. The first time I heard that, I busted out laughing. I was just like,
Does he know my
boss of you?
kids? He
Oh,
sounds
my
just like them.
Oh man, they are just great. We had so much fun doing those. All right, so we are let's to be continued because I know Joe Didi's coming in today, so we have to finish right at 8.
Okay.
But we talked about triglycerides,
Yes.
HDLs and LDLs.
I didn't give the number of what triglycerides should be.
Yes, what should
so
they
if you
be?
get them tested, you want them under 150.
Okay.
Okay. So what can you do? First of all, I heard you talking about this a lot. Exercise.
Always.
And cardio-based exercise is what I'm talking about. Walking, biking, swimming, the pedalers that you can either use your hands or your feet with.
Yep.
You need a cardio. It doesn't mean you can't do flexibility and strength training and yoga and things like that, but to make those HDLs go higher, which will make the LDLs go lower, it needs to be cardio-based. So your heart rate has to go up a little and be sustained for a period of time. And I say this to anyone over the age of 25. If you aren't exercising now, you need to run it by your doctor first, because 99% of the time they say, you should have been doing that 10 years ago. And 1% of the time they say, you know what, let's do a stress test first. So just heads up.
Yeah.
You can, one thing I love is to have a meat, like there was a theme for a while of meatless Mondays.
Yeah.
So you can, I would say, pick at least one dinner and one lunch a week and make that meatless. So what does that mean? It could be as simple as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It could be lentil soup. It could be
like an omelet?
An omelet.
Like a vegetable omelet?
'cause that's it's still an animal-based protein.
Oh, okay. So
we're
so you're just
non-animal.
strictly you're going strictly vegetable.
Right.
Okay.
So it could be a veggie burger.
Okay.
And so I would definitely try and get a meatless meal in if all your meals are meat.
Okay.
Okay. Definitely try to get fish in 3 times a week. And all fish have heart-healthy fat in it called omega-3 fatty acids. There are some that have higher amounts, and I was taught an acronym of SMASH: salmon, mackerel, anchovy, sardine, haddock. Those were the highest in omega-3s.
Okay.
But then white albacore tuna is just as high, and it doesn't fit into SMASH, so I just smasha.
Okay,
I don't know.
smasha. There you go.
But all fish has it. So if you really love cod or tilapia or whatever, having that, as long as you don't batter, dip, and deep fry it, you're in good shape.
Bake it. You can,
I used to be afraid to bake fish.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind of, how did you make it? That's kind of the only way I make it.
Well, I just was afraid of fish, so I didn't know what to do with it. So I'm the only dietitian on earth who will admit this. I don't eat fish. I don't like fish.
Okay.
It's just the thing.
It's not your thing.
So, I replace it with tofu and I make fish for my
Have
husband.
you ever done fish on the grill?
Every year I try a different kind of fish in a different format.
Okay.
I bake, I grill, I saute, I steam, I microwave, different flavors.
Okay.
When it comes to the end of the day, it's still fish.
Okay.
So, but I do make it for my husband.
Yep.
And I bake a lot. I bake it often with lots of lemon and herbs and yeah.
Some I just use a little bit of Italian breadcrumbs just to pat it. You know, I use Italian I marinate it in Italian dressing.
Yeah, my latest thing is
white fishes.
some tomatoes.
That's actually like my go-to because it's fast.
Yes.
I mean, fish cooks really fast. You know, bakes really fast.
Yeah. I layer a pan with lemon, put the fish on, a little olive oil, black pepper, lemon on top of that.
Okay.
Sometimes
and you were saying tomatoes in there?
And onions. I've wrapped it up in foil and baked it. It's wonderful.
Yeah. If you like fish.
If you like fish. Yep.
Okay. But that's another way
to
get
fish
those,
3
keep
times
those
a week will
Okay.
help the LDLs go lower and the HDLs go higher, and that brings the total cholesterol down.
Okay.
Other things that you can do if you're not a big fish person and you want to get heart healthy fats in, nuts and seeds. So almonds and walnuts and things like that. And one of my general rules of thumb that I've mentioned many times, and that is some is good, more is not necessarily better.
Yes, right, exactly.
You know, a handful of nuts is a perfect serving size.
And it goes a long way.
It does.
Nuts are filling.
I chop them up so it spreads out more.
Yeah.
I roast them for about 5 to 10 minutes at 350. It brings out the essential oils to add flavor. But I'm not talking about eating a jar of honey roasted peanuts.
Right.
You know, I'm talking about the dry roasted, not salted, not sweetened.
Yep.
So nuts and seeds.
And those are nice too. I throw nuts and seeds in with either rice or with vegetables like green beans. Like I always put almonds. You know, I'll just I'll sliver them myself and just throw those in there as well. It just gives it a little crunch.
Yeah. So nuts and seeds can help. You can also use things like flaxseed and chia seeds, and they're both sources of heart-healthy fats and fiber. Flax seeds need to be broken down. You can't have them whole and expect anything to happen other than the seeds will go in whole and come out whole.
Okay.
So they need to be either ground flaxseed meal, or you grind them yourself in a little coffee grinder, but that is the only thing you grind in that coffee grinder because it will make your fresh coffee you're about to grind taste really bad.
Okay.
So flaxseed.
Good to know. You have to have your own separate flaxseed grinder.
Or just buy it ground.
But, yeah.
Which is what I do. And chia seeds, which really are, you know, like the chia pet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So chia seeds are a good source of heart-healthy fat. However, you have to soak them in a liquid for at least 20 minutes before you use them.
I remember you saying that before.
So I don't see that a lot in the literature, but it is a fact. You have to soften the outside.
Okay.
And so if I'm making oatmeal, for example, I'll put the chia seeds in the water with the oats in the fridge overnight.
Yep.
So that the next day when I cook it up, they've soaked forever.
And there it is. We're going to end on that note with, you know, it's kind of like a breakfasty type thing so that I can go and eat my oatmeal breakfast when I get to the senior center, which is exactly what I'm going to do, by the way. It is 8 o'clock. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. Thank you to Jen Jafune, who is our registered dietitian, local licensed nutritionist. And Jen, if people, yes, you're welcome. And if people, Jen is in private practice right downtown in the building right near the G&E, right on Elm Street.
I'm right upstairs.
Right upstairs in this lovely old building. And phone number, if people wanted to contact you, Jen.
413-579-5450.
There you go. And if you forget that, call me at the Senior Center and I have it. All right, Joe Didi is up next with All Things Southwick, and we will be back next week. Next week, my guest is Joe Rouse, Director of public health, and Joe longs for the day, perhaps this will be it, that he can talk about something other than COVID. I said, Joe, remember the good old days when we used to talk about ticks and, and the flu and things like that? And he said, I know. He goes, let's talk about ticks and food poisoning or something.
Oh, too funny.
All right, so we'll be back next week. Joe Didi's up next. Have a good one.
To take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a baby is junk. Bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. Bucket to take up a baby is junk. Well, why they want to tell us that it's edible is just incredible. I certainly do not get it. Do you? I mean, I have nothing personally against the polyester market or in their outdoor capitalists. They tell me it's food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a baby is junk. Just can't decide when I'm going for a drive. And that hunger starts to get me and those golden arches loom. Do I put on my blinker? Am I an independent thinker? Do I really want to feel like a big fried fool? May I help you? Boom, 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 boom. I have a boom, 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 boom. May I help you? Boom, boom. I have a boom, 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 boom. May I help you? Boom, boom. I have a boom, 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 boom. May I help you? Boom, boom. I have a make meal my way. Bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. Bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. Bucket to take up a baby is junk. A bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. A bucket to ja food. Bucket to take up a bucket, take a junk food. Bucket to junk. Thank you.